It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Friday, the 10th of January. I'm Michael Groff. The main weather headline around here will be the potential of a freeze this weekend, tonight, tomorrow night, perhaps even Sunday night into Monday morning, with overnight lows expected to drop all the way into the mid to upper 20s in some of the coolest valley locations, with 30s pretty much everywhere else. So yeah, cover up those plants. And then the forecast for next week does show a warming trend, and there is maybe some forecast uncertainty to talk about. Could that involve some precipitation? We'll get to that and everything else. But before we do, it is Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and/or videos that you guys have submitted. And first up, David Parnell up in Show Low. Yeah, Show Low, they're playing basketball. Now, of course, again, it's indoors, but if you're headed up to the high country, well, you're not going to have too many travel troubles up there, as conditions are pretty dry across northern Arizona. There's hardly been so much as a flake of snow in most locations, or very little snow for most everyone. And that's going to continue for a while, unfortunately. But it is going to be chilly up there this weekend. All right, from that, we go to a place where they've had plenty of snow, and that's Kentucky. This is a picture courtesy of Beth. She also sent a video. Let me see if we can pop that on here for you. And again, that's from Kentucky. It's the frozen wasteland of Kentucky. They had snow, they had ice, then they had more snow on top of that. And so that has just been a really interesting situation. And of course, they're getting some more wintry precipitation over parts of the southeast today. And more snow to talk about. This is up in Montana. These are courtesy of Buck. And he says there's about 4 inches of snow that came down there. So again, it's good to see at least somebody getting in on the winter action here in the Southwest. Again, the ski resorts, they're hating it because it's just been so dry. And, obviously for our reservoirs and our drought conditions that continue to worsen here over the Southwest, well, that's a bad sign also. But hopefully we can start to see some precipitation as we get into next week. Now, this is from Gary in Buckeye, and he says, yeah, it's cold. Look at that. Just below freezing out there in the Southwest Valley. And finally, Steve and Renee in Willow Creek sent in this picture. That is gorgeous. Just lovely, lovely shot up there in Northwest Arizona. Willow Creek. And we appreciate that. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, everybody, for sending in your photos and videos. We could not do this without you each and every week. Photo Friday. If you've got a photo or video you'd like to submit, groffshow@gmail.com is the email address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for Photo Friday. All right, getting to it here. The Almanac from yesterday. Hey, how about this? 65 degrees the afternoon high, 43 the morning low. And that's the first time in a long time we have been below average. 67 and 45 are the averages for this time of year. And as we take a look outside right now, here at about 11:30 a.m., we've got sunny sky. We've got 58 degrees at Sky Harbor, but it is very dry. Dew points at 14, humidity 17%. Wind from the east-northeast at 14, gusts to 21 miles per hour. The barometer up there at 30.36 inches and steady. Satellite picture out here across the west. That system that brought in the windy conditions and a little bit of rain and snow to east, central, and southeast Arizona, and a couple of sprinkles here in the valley. Well, that's moved off to the east. And now we're seeing all that wintry precipitation, the southern plains, the southeast U.S., as that system continues to move east. Now, there's a follow-up short wave that's moving through the west, the Intermountain West, and we've got a ridge sitting off the California coast, a pretty prominent ridge. And so we still have the tight pressure gradient with those northerly winds across Southern California. And that's the worst news for them, as they are just having historic wildfires in the LA basin. And it just continues to burn. Some of these are still out of control. And it's just been, we showed you the videos from earlier this week, just an absolute nightmare scenario. Now, the good news, if you want to find any good news to be had there, is that we do expect the winds to begin to ease here through the day today, tonight, and tomorrow. But we could see a return to some gusty winds later next week. All right, the watch warning map. We've got air stagnation alerts to the north of us over parts of Oregon and Idaho. Again, the same areas that we often see those this time of year. But how about this? The winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings from parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, eastward, even into Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia. They had some good snows coming down in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa and in Huntsville up in the Tennessee Valley. Snowflakes were flying. Over in Atlanta, I saw it was snowing earlier this morning. And, of course, we have snow headed for the Carolinas and the Virginias as well. So, yes, it is going to change over to sleet, freezing rain, and then some just plain old cold rain across the deep south as big snows. You usually don't see many of them, and even if they do, it doesn't last long. So, but still elsewhere, just a big mess. So, travel troubles there. Now, for us, here in Arizona, we've got a freeze warning in effect. Now, for tonight, starting at midnight tonight through 9 a.m. tomorrow, there's a freeze warning in effect for Queen Creek, Sun Lakes, parts of the Southeast Valley. And those areas, they'll have a freeze warning both tonight and tomorrow night. The rest of the valley, or at least most of the rest of the valley, is in a freeze warning from midnight to 9 a.m. on Sunday. And that's going to include places like Avondale, Goodyear, Litchfield, Cashion, Phoenix Metro, and some of these surrounding areas. I believe Apache Junction also is in the freeze warning for tonight also. So, again, we've got that freeze warning for most of the Phoenix Metro area on Sunday morning, for some of the outlying areas tonight and into the early morning or the mid-morning hours tomorrow. All right, and of course, a freeze warning for much of the rest of southern and southeast Arizona, those cold weather advisories for the higher elevations as well. All right, convective outlook for today. No organized severe weather across the nation. A little thunder possible along the immediate Gulf Coast. And the precipitation outlook, this is valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing statewide. There could be a little bit of light precipitation across parts of northwest Arizona. And there is forecast uncertainty that starts out here toward the end of this period, which we will talk about right now as we get to the models, see what the future may hold. Here we go, the GFS, the 12Z run, and it's valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. There is our big weather maker moving through the southeast and the eastern part of the country with a lot of cold rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow, just a big mess, and wind as well. That system is slowly pulling away from us, a highly positively tilted system, so unfortunately it still kind of lingers. We've got another short wave off to the north of us that's going to drop on in, and you see that big ridge that's sitting out to the west of us, that anomalous ridge, and that's why we still have the tight pressure gradient and those gusty winds here across Arizona, Nevada, and of course Southern California. So what it all means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today: sunny, cool, highs upper 50s to low 60s. Tonight, clear sky, and with that very dry air, and the winds are going to start to die down. And as that happens, those low dew points, temperatures should fall like a stone. We'll see overnight lows around 30 in the cold spots. Meanwhile, upper 30s for the urban core. Now, actually, some of the outlying desert areas could get into the upper 20s tonight. Again, out there toward Apache Junction, Sun Lakes, Queen Creek. Yeah, a low of 28, 29 degrees, not out of the question there. So again, you'll want to cover up those plants. And again, even if you're, kind of on the fence about it, just go ahead and do it tonight. Cover up those plants, even in some of the, the western parts of the valley, out there toward Goodyear and Avondale and all that. But probably don't have to. I think those areas will see lows probably mid 30s tonight. Still pretty close, a close call. Now for tomorrow, we're sunny, we're cool, highs low to mid 60s. Tomorrow night, again, really shouldn't have any wind at all, so we'll see lows dropping into the potentially the mid to upper 20s in the coldest areas. Again, the far southeast valley, you're out there toward Queen Creek, Sun Lakes, and some of the McDowells up on the McDowell Mountains, some of those remote areas up toward Wickenburg as well, Apache Junction, the outlying areas. Otherwise, I'd say lows probably around 29 for the cold spots, in the Phoenix Metro, and mid to upper 30s for the rest of us. So again, looks like a pretty widespread freeze. Then for the day on Sunday, again, we are sunny, we are cool, highs upper 50s and low 60s with that shortwave passing by, and that's going to reinforce that northerly flow and that cool air advection in here. And again, Sunday night, Monday morning should be equally cool with lows, again, maybe mid to upper 20s in the coldest areas, 30s elsewhere. Then on Monday, upper 50s, low 60s, and that's going to be the end of the really below average stuff for a while. We should start to warm it up by Tuesday. Highs actually get back close to the upper 60s, maybe near 70. Here's Wednesday, highs low to mid 70s, and there is an upper low that's closing off the Southern California coast. Now, ridging should sit to the north of that. The winds shouldn't be too bad with this for now. But we're going to watch this situation and how it evolves carefully. We could start to see some pretty gusty east and southeast winds in time across Southern California. We're going to have to watch that. But what could also wind up happening is this could start to pull some moisture into the region too, and at least provide some precipitation. But that remains to be seen, because here's Thursday, the low begins to move east. And again, some showers are possible, maybe in Southern California if this works out. But again, we've seen the models starting to flip and flop on the evolution of this system. And a week from today, Friday, the 17th, shows it as a weakening wave that's coming in. And yeah, that could provide some showers for Southern California, Southern Nevada, maybe even here into Arizona, some widely scattered showers. Probably nothing to get too excited about for us. Temperatures would remain pretty close to average. If this is right, I'd say highs probably anywhere from about 66 to 70 or so. We'll have to see again how this evolves. Then let's go to Saturday the 18th. A very cold core system dropping in across the west. Over land, unfortunately. Not a lot of moisture advection. But if this does work out, we could still see some showers here across parts of Arizona with that initial wave coming through. And again, maybe a little bit of snow for the high country, a little bit of rain in the deserts. Possible out here towards Saturday the 18th. But that's pretty far out there. We're trudging into fantasy land at this point. And then going out 10 days, this is Sunday the 19th. Pretty impressive trough over a good slice of the nation here. The central and the eastern part of the country should start to see another round of cool temperatures and unsettled conditions for the southern plains and into the southeast U.S. We're on the backside of that, a dry northwesterly flow, so we are cool and we are dry. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this goes out through the 24th of the month off the off the GFS ensemble. And the control member here is the outlier, and even at that, it's only up at about 0.15 of an inch. The Euro ensemble is a little bit more bullish. The mean is around 1/4 of an inch. And there's quite a few members that indicate we could see some precipitation again out by about 7 to 10 days and beyond. But, we keep talking about that, and the models keep wanting to trend toward that because that is climatology, and that's model bias, especially ensemble guidance, tends to bias toward climatology the further out you go. So maybe that happens, but again, I know you'll believe it when you see it, and I hear you on that. All right, temperatures off the national blend of models, and this weekend we'll see highs at or below average, and again, those overnight lows are going to get kind of chilly. Now, what you're seeing here, this is at Sky Harbor, okay? So you might as well, for your area, depending on where you are, you may be close to this, but many of you will be down in the low 30s, maybe even upper 20s on a couple of mornings, maybe mid 20s for some of those really remote outlying desert areas. You get down toward central Pinal County, you get down toward Casa Grande and Coolidge and those areas, I would not be surprised to see a low in some of those spots around 26, 27 degrees. But again, here for the greater Phoenix area, upper 20s to mid, maybe upper 30s, and that's going to be our range here. And this is really the first big push of cool weather we've had around here in quite a long time, and it's not going to last too long. It usually doesn't here in the Southwest, so we'll start to warm it up as we go into next week, and highs could very well get back up into the 70s and then drop off a bit thereafter with the potential, it's a dangerous word, the potential of clouds and rain. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here on Monday morning. But of course, updates before that if necessary. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, and of course you do, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. And if you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make those monetary contributions to us. $2, $5, $88,966.05. You can do any of that by clicking that thanks icon. Or, of course, you can donate directly to us via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out, her blogs, her videos, everything Michelle related and tangentially Adriana related. It's all linked up down there in the description. And of course, what else is linked up is our streaming station. It's available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. Whereupon we play a ton of music and have a lot of fun over there. It's the most chaotic mix of music. You wonder what we play on there? It's stuff like that. And again, that's all I can play because otherwise we get demonetized. That might have actually been too much. That's more than we normally do. You might actually be able to guess what song that was. And yeah. All right. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. Please be safe out there and have yourselves a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.